Ladies and gentlemen, shalom. My name is Ingrid Batige, and this is Holy Birthed, a podcast that is all about becoming from the Word of God, by the Word of God, and to the Word. Today is a very special day. Today is a very special episode because today we have our very first guest of Holy Birthed. And I am here with my youth leader. His name is John Mwamba, Minister John Mwamba. And I'm going to let him introduce himself. Mutumishi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you, Ingrid?
I'm doing good. How are you feeling?
I cannot complain. The Lord has been faithful.
Are you ready for my questions? You never know. I might have some surprise for you.
I leave us over.
Like we were talking, the purpose of your interview today is really to help someone who's struggling to accept the call of God. And I just really want you to share through your personal experience, through your walk with God, through your walk with faith, like how did you really accept the call? How was it easy? Was it hard? Or was it something that your family pushed you into, something that maybe your pastor pushed you into? How was it really a process? How was the process? And so my first question to you that I really just want, actually I'm just going to let you introduce yourself first. Like, who is Minister John according to himself?
Well, my name is John. I am just a simple guy. I have nothing to say, just apart from that.
Okay. And how was Minister John Mwamba born again? How did you come to the faith?
My salvation story, wow.
How did you come to the faith?
I love this story because it always reminds me of the things I had experienced with my journey. To start with, I am a pastor's child. My dad was a pastor. So growing up as a kid, I always had the passion to serve with my dad. As a matter of fact, I remember whenever I was young, my dad was preaching in Swahili and I would try and translate in English, although I was very young.
Wait, I thought your dad was preaching in Chiluba.
That makes you laugh. The language I don't even know.
No, you don't. Ay, my God.
Let me call my charisma when in public. Yeah?
Let me not embarrass you, my man.
I'm going to spend.
Go ahead.
But yeah, you know. My dad, whenever I started preaching Swahili, I always wanted to imitate him in English, even though I was young. So I had the passion to serve God since I was young. I remember my grandma used to call me, pray for me. You know, they used to call me a young pastor back in the days. You know,
was that like more your grandmother, your dad?
My grandmother, my dad, and most people that grew up around me.
Was there like a moment where someone actually prophesied to you that you are going to become a pastor or you have the call of God at a young age?
A lot of prophecy came. A lot. I don't even remember most of them, but there was a lot of prophecy about that. You know, but the last prophecy I could remember at a very, very young age, if you remember correctly, it was when I came to the States. It was in America. That's the prophecy I remember.
Okay.
You know,
how old were you, if you can remember? Probably
like 10.
All right. Okay.
10 or 11. I would say 10 or 11. Apart from my family giving me the prophecy, from anybody else would be when I first came to the States. I think I was about 10 or 11 years old.
And when it came to your family telling you about it and someone else telling you about it, did you take it more serious when someone else told it to you? Or?
I never took it seriously. So my story was after coming to the United States, I got met with some friends, started going to school to Hawaii, I met new people. So my passion for the things of God completely dropped. So I didn't care anymore.
Okay.
You know,
Were you still going to church?
Yes, I was going to church. Yes, I was singing in choir.
Were you serving?
Yes.
Were you baptized?
Yes, I was baptized.
Okay. So what was the turning point? What is that moment that changed everything? You know how Moses had his burning bush. What can you say? Like, this was my burning bush moment that flipped everything in my life. Because I actually really wanted to mention this. John, when I first met you, this is not how you were. Like, I remember when I first met you.
What year was it?
That was in 2020.
Really?
When I first
Wow.
met you in 2020, like our first meeting, so when I first met you, you were going to play drum for one of our sisters at her concert. And so I met you and I was just like, this man, because I'd be studying a lot. But then later on we did hang out together. And then the next time I met you was at your brother's wedding. And that day we were just praying for food. And the way you reacted in that moment of prayer, I was like, there's something different about this guy. This is not, because I left, I went home, and then I came back, and I was like, something is different. And I feel like that's why for me, I saw a different person.
Really?
And ever since that
glory.
there has been a switch. So, like, what was going on in 2020, before 2020? Like, how did you really accept, like, now I'm turning away from all this nonsense?
So after, because when my father passed in 2013, I completely walked away from the things of God. Although I knew inside of me one day I would serve God, but I never knew when would that come. And challenges of life, growing up as a teen without a father, so that was a pastor. He was technically my hero. So when I saw him leave, I lost faith in God. So I definitely was just doing my own thing. I became a drummer, so I started playing drums for years. Many churches I was going through, many concerts. The only thing I was doing was just playing drums. So one day I was playing drums at this one church, and then there was a lady. She saw me playing drums. She called me. She said, "Hey, what are you doing on the stage?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just playing drums." She said, "What is your name?" I said, "My name is John." She said, "Wow, you know, you have a great, big calling of God upon your life." I was like, me? I'm like, only if you knew, huh?
If you knew what I do behind the scenes.
Only if you knew. I was like, yeah, you have a big call. I'm like, really? She said, yes, I see a great call of God upon your life. And at that time, I was trying to get back with God, but then at that time, I don't think anybody truly
was pushing you?
Yes, nobody was pushing me, and I did not really have that environment for me to actually connect with the things of God. Although I had that in my heart, it's like I want to go back to God, you know. But so that was actually in 2019.
So you would say like that moment when she came to talk to you was like a very pivotal moment of your life?
Yes, because she played a big role in my life, whereby whenever she told me, she gave me a lot of prophecies. She spoke, she said, "I see you preaching, Ashley. I see you have a great call of God upon your life." And then she took down my number, and then she called me, she checked on me, and then one day she invited me to go pray at the mountain.
Do we know this lady?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I'll give her a shout out. Can I say names?
No, let's not say names.
Okay,
maybe next time we can ask her, but yeah, we do know her. We do know her.
She took me to the mountain. We prayed together. At that time, I don't know. That woman has a very big spirit. I can say she really encouraged me a lot. And then that was in 2019, and then early 2020, I think it was around mid or early 2020s, she invited me to go to a retreat in Texas. And that retreat, I saw a very young, powerful man of God, which is a prophet. I saw him do a lot of great things, the way he preached, the way he demonstrated the power of God. At that young age, I was like, I've never seen really, because the way he represented God.
Is it okay to ask how old he was at that moment?
He was in his early 20s.
And how old were you at that moment?
Probably like 19, or maybe 19 or 18.
All right, okay.
I think I was 19 or 18.
So you were like, this is my age mate doing all these things.
I was 19, and yes, I was 19.
All right.
Yes, I was shocked.
I was shocked too. I know who you're talking about. I was shocked too.
Yeah, I was shocked at the young age. He was doing great things. So, me meeting him, there's a message he preached, and that message is still stuck into my heart, because that's the message he preached that truly I could say spoke to my heart.
And this was in 2020?
Yes.
Okay, because me, I noticed the change in 2020. That's why I was right specifically. Okay.
I was no longer John the drummer. As a matter of fact, I lost passion for drums like that.
I feel you.
So after I met the man of God, he preached a very powerful sermon that the Lord knows us. He preached a sermon. If I remember the analogy that he spoke, he said, many of us who might take different direction but we have the same destination.
I like this.
So I looked at my life, because the things that I went through, it was not the same as other men of God. Other men of God had crazy stories. The other men of God, they'd be like, me, I didn't want to serve God. But for me, it was different.
Okay.
You know, because since I was young, I had that passion. But every other man of God would tell me, if you want to serve God, yeah, you love ministry too much, yeah, it will not work for you.
So why do you think you had that desire? Because personally, for me too, I've never wanted the work of God. Actually, I've been trying to run. Like seeing what my dad does, I feel like just growing up in a pastoral family, it's just a heavy cross that I was just like, no, I don't think I can handle. So why do you think for you it was more like, nah, this is fun or this is enjoying? Because when we grow up, I feel like now I do find the things of God more like really interesting. Like, wow, prophecy, wow, word of knowledge. Those things are very interesting. So like, at that age, why didn't you run away after seeing how your dad is being dishonored? Because as a pastor, they go through a lot of disrespect. They sacrifice for a lot of people, but they are never noticed. So how did you have that heart to say like, nah, me, this is the thing that I really desire?
I didn't know the reality of ministry, because although I would see a glimpse of it, but my dad truly did not expose the challenges he was going through in ministry until I get to a later age. Then my mom would explain to me how things actually were, you know. Okay. So I didn't really see the reality of it. I only saw, what I can say is I only saw people being changed. I only saw people giving their life to Christ. I saw all that beautiful things, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to help people's life change. Some people would come to my house when I was very young. They say, pray for me, because I had that desire to. You know, and I just knew that, okay, if I pray for this person, that will be healed, that will be fine. That's the faith I had as a young kid. You get what I'm saying? I never really see the reality of it. So I only saw the other side about it.
So did it switch now that you are older, like now that you know the reality of ministry?
Now that I know the reality of ministry.
How do you handle it?
I don't think I'm so much eager into going into ministry or anything like that. If anything, I desire, because at the early stage of my life, it was hard for me to make a difference between living for God and only serving God. So whenever I became born again, I think the thing that was in my mind only was just serving. Okay. You know, and I left the aspect of living for God. So right now, if you ask me that question, I think my answer would be more towards, I want to live more for God instead of serving more.
Okay.
You know, because back then I wanted to serve.
All right.
Big time, which is nothing wrong with that. Like, I would want to do everything and anything. Call me midnight. And sometimes I would not even take care of my own self. I would not even pray or spend time with the Lord. You know, I would just want to go serve. You know, so I think at this stage that I am in my life right now, I begin to realize that I want to live for God more than just serve.
So how would you say, what's the power of that? Like the power of truly you are becoming a certain man, and that man that you are becoming, like living for God in the secret place, is what you are trying to bring to people. So what would you say is the difference of that, like now that you understand, instead of just jumping into serving, I want to be, you know, I want to be in his presence. How would you think, what would you explain is the power of that mindset now?
Because if I can explain that, is because I think now you are being more attentive to the spirit of what the Lord actually wants you to do. Because whenever you just want to go serve, you know, you will serve most of the time with the things that you are just studying, reading, and hearing some other teaching. But versus having true intimacy with God. So true intimacy with God, when you will not go serve God, but yet you have not know what he said to you to do, or what message for you to speak. So the most of the time you see a message that somebody will pick is not that much impact, is because you study the message. You not get the message from, you didn't download it from God. So the difference between that, I would say, is that I can say to an extent you need to study 100%, but you need intimacy with God. And the difference that made for me in personal life is that I began to practice what I preach more, and I began to teach people from what I learned from God and what I'm applying in my life personally, instead of me just studying it. And you preach what you heard from God directly with more impact because you experience it. The message came downloaded from heaven to you and to the people, versus just running around. Because whenever you just want to serve, you will do anything in your power. Just people must know that you are serving. You'll be everywhere and anywhere. You don't have no limitation. You don't know where God called you to be. You will see you are a mouth, but you want to jump to be your eyes. Why? Because you are so much eager. I want to go serve. I want to go preach, which is nothing wrong with that. I want to go a musician. I want to go on the camera. I want to go do all that. So my mind was just like, let me go do everything. So I realized also, I think I wanted to win the love of God by that service I was doing. So that was my story. I wanted to win the love of God by service I was doing. Maybe God, you will see me what I'm doing. But I realized that I was not truly living for God, but I was serving God. Yeah. So that changed even the way I even interact with people now, the way I even talk with people. I don't necessarily want, because I used to be, let me prophesy to you. That used to be me, but living that journey, I begin to realize it's more about Jesus than it could ever be about me or anything that I desire to want to go do, but let it be about God. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, that answers the question. As you are talking, it just makes me think, I love how you mentioned the part, I was trying to serve God so that, so that God can see me, to please God and to maybe to get the acceptance, the love of God. And it reminds me of the preaching that you actually preached last Sunday on the untold keys and the mercy of God. There's absolutely nothing we can do to win God's heart, because He already loves us beyond everything. Our service doesn't do anything, like doing even this podcast doesn't make Him love us more. Like God has already loved us, God has already accepted us. And I feel like one thing that always makes me feel like I cannot impress God is the fact that when I didn't know any Bible verse is when He called me, is when He was speaking to me. Because sometimes when you think about those moments that you didn't even know the voice of God as that capacity to discern the voice of God, but now you realize
it just reminded
I used to hear Him a lot.
You just reminded me something powerful. No, I didn't want to cut you, but go ahead.
No, that's it.
You know what's interesting?
Go ahead.
After I come back from Dallas, right, I had powerful encounters. This encounter I will share is very,
personal.
Yes. Yeah. But after I had that powerful encounter, I never read a book of Jeremiah in my entire life. I never read a book of Jeremiah in my entire life. The only thing I knew, because when I went there, we was praying for long hours, was singing in the spirit. I didn't have no understanding. But the only thing is I love the presence. So I was spending hours in the presence at that time. And then I just heard the voice tell me, I knew before you were formed in your mother's womb. Like I formed you. Yeah. And then they said, I ordained you to be a prophet. I used to hate prophets. I'm like, me? The fear. Don't be me. Hey, you gotta say, man. And then, interesting enough, there was a voice that spoke to me, called me Malachi. And I didn't know what Malachi means. Never heard what a Malachi is in my entire life. It's like Malachi. I said, oh. And then I heard preaching about Apostle Joseph Salmon say, sometimes the Lord might call you your name that is not yours, but that's just your identity of what you are called to be. I was like,
Did you ever go study more about Malachi?
Malachi, yes. Went down.
And where did you discover connecting to you?
A messenger.
Okay.
A messenger of God. Malachi, that's what it is, a messenger. So I realized, so what is God trying to tell me? And then, because mind you, I never read the Bible. I didn't even know the book of Jeremiah exists in the Bible.
And you even heard that Malachi before you studied about Malachi.
Yes. And then I remember one day I was praying on the call with one man of God, my elder brother. And then he was like, there is somebody here the Lord wants to remove the mask. I see the Lord's calling somebody right now. At that time, I didn't even know my brother had the gift of prophecy. The guy started blowing boom. I was like, hey, can't leave us over. What's going on here? At this time, Oh God, what is going on here? Why am I seeing weird things? You know, so I love what you were talking about, the mercy of God, because I realized something very, very important. I am where I am, not because I pray too much, not because I study and read the word too much. It's the mercy of God, because even whenever I had my encounter, I didn't know the Bible verse. I didn't know I didn't know anything. The only thing I knew to remember was I know God is, and I wanted to find Him. And then He's the one that made a way for me, because whenever I met the woman of God, Inez, God knew.
It's okay, go ahead.
God knew the heart of what I wanted and where I wanted to go, but I just didn't know how to get there. You know, so it's the mercy of God, honestly.
The mercy of God. Let me go to my next question, because I don't know how we are on our time right now, but I really want us to get to this question. I would really like how the Holy Spirit is just allowing us to talk into these things. There are some of the questions that I actually prepared that I'm realizing we've already talked about them. So was there a moment you wanted to walk away from the calling?
Oh, yes.
What made you stay?
Oh, yes. You know, challenges of life comes. You know, I would remember the time I was going through some rough time in my life where I felt I was not qualified. I felt like my life was not moving anymore. Matter of fact, I started questioning everything.
Okay.
You know, I started asking myself, is this God things even, really? You understand?
Yeah.
So when that happened, I wanted to walk away from everything. I wanted to leave even serving, because I felt like I was not being free. And that is the time where I was serving God only, and I didn't know what it meant to live for God. So I felt overwhelmed. I felt tired. I felt like my life is not going anywhere. You know, I saw people that I started ministry with together. One of them are doing well, and then I'm just stuck here. Then the pressure hit me. I wanted to make some crazy decisions, just the pressure of my life. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to serve anymore. So that happened. And then,
did you pray to remain, or was it like people
I did not have the
you?
time
Like,
to
how
pray.
did you?
I did not have the heart to pray. If anything, I thank God, because one thing that truly helps me in situations like that, I always call a brother or a sister in faith, and we'll talk about God. You know, there are times I will just call, we'll be talking about God, but no, you probably think I'm calling to encourage you, but I'm doing it because I need it. It's not you, I need it.
So right here you are trying to give someone a cheat code. When you are struggling in your faith, call a brother or a sister.
I'm telling you the truth. Call a brother or sister, talk about God, talk about encounters you guys have, talk about revival that you guys carry. I remember, at that time, the only thing that kept me, if I could be honest with you, was the mercy of God, because it was even difficult for me to pray. I'd want to pray, but then my heart was so heavy. Why? Because I'm tired. I'm doing all this thing for you, but yet there's nothing. Okay, I'm serving, there's nothing. I'm doing too much, but you.
Are you seeing me, God?
So it became something that frustrated me so much that I wanted to leave. The only thing that kept me was the mercy of God.
Did the Lord speak to you in that moment? Did you feel like, I have a Father who's still available around me?
Yes, yes, I'll get to there. The only thing that kept me was the mercy of God. And I remember I had a dream. And the dream that I had, it was very interesting. Because I had a dream that I was still on the altar preaching, even though I had no desire to preach. Apart from that, and then I heard a message from a man of God, Michael Oropo. And apart from that, something moved my heart, whereby I understand the revelation of what, that's what I even talked about on Sunday. I understand the revelation of your foundation. So the Lord began to speak to me, tell me you are doing all those things, which is not bad, but your foundation. Did you put God first as your foundation, or did you want to do all these things because of you? Do you know who I am? Do you know that I love you? Do you know that I came here on earth to die for you? I didn't come in here on earth to die for you just to simply because you deserved it, or simply because just for you to go and just serve, do all too much thing. I did this because I love you, and I choose to love you. There's nothing you can ever do, anything, because I already disqualified myself. I felt guilt inside of my heart. I said, okay, God, I'm done. But then he came to me even when I disqualified myself, even when I wanted to leave everything. The foundation. He reminded me of the foundation.